I understand this is not easy, and I know that doing so will take its toll on each of you. But in the final analysis, unless you continue to try to get President Obama and his administration to actively pursue my release, we may never see each other again.
Well, clearly under duress, that's American Warren Weinstein, 2+ years a captive of Al-Qaeda now. Mike Baker's with us now from Boise, Idaho. He's former CIA. Mike, over the years, we've seen a lot of videos, unfortunately, like this, clearly coerced. Having looked at Warren Weinstein, is there anything here that stands out to you and your highly trained eyes?
Well, no, I mean, there's a couple of points, but unfortunately none of them necessarily a surprise. A, it's very good news that there's a proof of life video, and obviously the first thing you do when you get something like this is you work hard to authenticate it, and also then start to gather whether you can determine exactly the time that the video was made, if there's any evidence of location, any indications at all that you can pull forensically off something like this. The other part of it is the release of this, and what he's saying, unfortunately, is not a surprise, meaning that Al-Qaeda, which picked him up, took him hostage, as you mentioned, over 2 years ago, back in August of 2011, this is what they do. They target important dates. They target anniversaries. They look for the publicity, and they know they release something like this at Christmas, then it's going to get more attention than it normally would. And the other part of it is what he's saying. He's feeling abandoned. He says he feels like he's been completely forgotten. Well, of course, he's an elderly, person who worked as a development specialist, for good Lord, trying to help the Pakistani people under contract with USAID. He's got health issues, and he's saying exactly what Al-Qaeda wants him to say. They're telling him what to say in this video, and frankly, after 2+ years of being held hostage, he's going to do whatever it takes to try to get at least a message out. So he's going to be very compliant. This is not what he signed up for when he went out to Lahore, all those years ago.
Well, let's play a little bit more of this video, and then I want to get your take.
In order to alleviate my pain and suffering, and to help me to reestablish my health, I have asked my captors if they will allow my family to visit me. They have agreed to do so, but they have done so on the basis that you will make an agreement, an arrangement with them that will provide a quid pro quo with respect to their people who are being held as prisoner.
So, Mike, we know the U.S. government does not negotiate with terrorists and hostage takers. So if that's a signal from Al-Qaeda, is it clear to you what they're proposing?
Well, they're not proposing anything. They know we're not going to go for that. They know they're not going to have his family come and visit. I mean, what are they going to do? Put them up in the local
so what are they
Motel
trying
6
to achieve then?
Outside of wherever they hold him in the safe house. Now, you know what? This is psychological torture being performed by Al-Qaeda, frankly. And they're doing this because they're looking for publicity. They're trying to make, this case about how relevant they are. Unfortunately, Mr. Weinstein is in a position where, of course, he has to do this. He's going to say what they tell him to say. He's going to believe half the time what they're telling him. They're telling him, look, you've been forgotten. You've been abandoned. The truth of the matter is he hasn't been forgotten. The government is doing what it possibly can. Unfortunately, because we're all used to watching big feature films, we think that hostage rescues are very simple things. And this situation is a nightmare in terms of an operational effort to try to rescue an individual who's being held likely in eastern Pakistan, up along the Waziristan area. Our level of intelligence on this, our ability to collect information on where this individual is little to none.
With your experience, I mean, obviously he's being coerced, but it sounds like he's speaking in his own words. Would Al-Qaeda have told him, okay, here are the points that we want you to make, so just figure out how to say it, or that's it?
Well, it depends on how clever the group that is holding him is, and how good their English is, how experienced they are with this sort of thing. Oftentimes they'll write out a script, literally write out a script and rehearse it with the hostage and say, this is what you're going to say, under threat of death, essentially, if you don't follow the script. If they're not as well experienced, then yes, they'll say, this is what we expect you to say, and you will say it. And they'll reshoot this video as many times as it takes until they have what they believe is exactly the message they want to get across. And also, they're doing the same thing. We're looking for evidence of information that might be helpful operationally in terms of where is he, what time this was shot. They're doing the same thing. They're going to send out a video that they feel in their mind is as sterile as possible.
Mike, appreciate you joining us.
Sure. Thank you.